Hello, I'm Sparky and welcome to the channel. What are we doing today? Well, I'm testing out the Panasonic Lumix GH6. I've just picked this up a few days ago and I want to see if it's good enough for me to use as a B camera for my area mirror. I want to be able to go on shoots, have it locked off on the tripod as a second camera in interviews, take it to places I wouldn't ordinarily be able to take this beast out to film, city centres, churches, whatever it might be. But taking something that's going to provide me with a decent enough picture that I can intercut with my mirror footage. Had a day off in Singapore on a job I was shooting recently, decided to take a trip to Singapore Zoo, with a great place to try it out, and here are my results. Yeah, there's the view from my hotel room. It's a pretty nice day over Singapore Harbour. Okay, in the bag got the camera today, a little prime lens. I've got two Lumix lenses, a variable ND filter, an extra memory card, an extra battery, some sun cream, it's Singapore after all, a V-Lock battery to use as backup battery power, a nice lens cloth, small tripod, lightweight tripod, a bottle of water, and my favourite hat. Okay, and my favourite bag, and all ready to go. Just to let you know, I filmed the intro to this piece using the V-Log Dynamic Range Boost on. This is it without a grade, and here it is with a nice little LUT thrown on top with a bit of tweaking. Decent results, I'm happy with that. Okay, back to the filming. I jumped in a taxi and off I went to Singapore Zoo. Trying to film here at the back of the car out the window is not easy. I was half keeping my eye on the driver here. His eyes seem to be closing on this trip and looking a little bit tired, so I was a bit concerned about that, but it's all handheld stuff in the back seat. Okay, Singapore Zoo, not my first time I've been to the zoo. I've been here a few years ago. They actually do a really cool night safari. As I say, all footage here was shot on the natural picture profile. I think with saturation dialed down a tiny bit, sharpness dialed down a tiny bit. Just a combination between some shots on the tripod and some handheld stuff. Mainly using the Lumix 35 to 100mm lens, because most animals are at a distance and the wide angle lens wasn't close enough. But I used it here, the 12 to 35. One finding I had looking back is I tried to shoot most things at 2.8, but it was almost too open, and I found a lot of the shots I had, although they looked in focus on the viewfinder, well, I took them back and see they were slightly soft. They were a couple of feet out. So I think I need to reduce even further the peaking range on the camera, maybe to -2, so that only the very things are in focus. If I went back again, I'd shoot things maybe f5, f6, just to give myself a little more room in my focus range. But this is the first time I've used the camera, so it's a learning for me, and next time I'm sure I'll do a little bit better. All recorded at ProRes, which is amazing. All my ARRI stuff is ProRes 422 10-bit files. Really nice clips to work with, especially in Final Cut Pro. Here's a bit of handheld action here, just using the in-camera stabilization of the GH6, and I'm pretty happy with the results. One thing I need to be careful of is sometimes I looked back at my viewfinder and I changed the shutter speed. I'm trying to keep it at 1/50th, sometimes 200th, depending on movement, and sometimes I was 60 or 70. So maybe next time I need to lock the camera so that doesn't happen. I used a variable ND filter on my lens, so I can keep it to about 2.8 the whole time. And of course, when you're working out the V-Log at 2000 ISO, you need an ND filter to be able to shoot wide open. These animals were just amazing. Luckily, when I arrived to film these tigers, they're just doing some feeding. So it was nice to see them in action. Beautiful, beautiful animals. Absolutely stunning. Let's have a quick look at how I graded the footage from the GH6. As I mentioned earlier, I grade all my footage. I've been editing, I should say, with Final Cut Pro for many years. It's, I think, the best, quickest editing platform to use. Now, the white balance for the camera throughout the day was set to cloudy. It was quite an overcast day, and I'm quite happy to set it to a preset and then tweak the colors afterwards. But one thing the camera did give me though was like a green little tinge to all the footage, but I quickly removed that using on my color board, just tweaking those colors just to lose that green tinge. I had the color curve effect as well, just to alter the level slightly of the blacks and the highlights, keeping everything in range. And I also loaded saturation a slight bit as well, because I think oversaturated colours really give away sort of a video look to any camera. And I think the colour, I think the image I ended up here was the most natural looking. Was a very natural looking look from the picture. Again, this is a shot with a natural scene file. Be quite interesting when I get more experience with the camera shooting this at vlog, just to see how different it would have been. But I have to say I'm really happy with how it handles, how it looks. There's plenty of room in there, plenty of data in the files to alter the colors, play with the exposure. Again, you can see that green tinge there, but I lose that green tinge and we're into some really nice looking colors. I'd rather use a preset white balance on the day like today rather than having to manually white balance for every single scene. It just makes things look a lot quicker. I know I can adjust the color later on. I can apply pretty much a color effect to most of the clips and then individually tweak them as I go along. A few shots of the camera on a day. Pretty much use the longer lens for most of it. Use it on a small little tripod I picked up as well. Okay, let's get back to some animal footage. Cue drums. Here's our favourite tigers again. A couple of bad boys sitting up there in the trees. These guys obviously love messing around in the mud. I mean, the week I was in Singapore, the rain was unbelievable. There were so many thunderous storms, so the place was very wet. Even on this day of filming, I had to shelter a couple of times for thunderstorms to pass through. Again, I'm shooting most of this at 2.8. And in hindsight, I might have gone back to maybe f5 or something to give myself a little bit more maneuver with the focusing. And particularly when you're using a longer lens, it's not so important to shoot wide open anyway. Getting handheld here. Probably using the 400 meters there, 100 millimeters. Still seems pretty good. I didn't use any autofocus on the day. Next time I'm going to try out the autofocus capability of the camera. Everything was shot in manual focus because that's what I've been doing for years and years. But obviously there's nothing wrong with using autofocus. I just didn't use it on this shoot. King of the jungle here. I had to shoot the front-on shot of these guys from the other side, as you can see, but I had to shoot through some glass, but it still turned out pretty good. The baboon enclosure was amazing. I love these shots. They have plenty of space to run around with and play. Yeah, it's been a long day, fella. If you ever get the chance to go to Singapore, I recommend you go to the zoo. It's an amazing place. I know there's lots of chat about animals and zoos, but most of the enclosures are pretty large. They seem to be very well looked after. It's an incredible place over a huge area. Picked good days, and Monday morning it's fairly quiet, so I pretty much had the zoo to myself, which was amazing. Happy with the picture profile I used on the day. I didn't have enough experience to shoot with the vlog, so I used natural as I said, but these I think these pictures look fab. I used to go back to zoo actually with a longer lens, maybe a 200mm prime or something, just to see what I can do. You spot the animal there? There's a little frog there, look, top right of your picture. This is a beautiful shot of the reflection of the birds on the water. Check out the ears on this fella. Incredible animals in Singapore Zoo. And here's your man just chilling out, having a stretch, taking it easy. I was pretty impressed by when I was focus pulling and stuff on this camera with the lack of breathing on the lens. Zebra stripes. Yeah, I wonder who that is walking off. Can't beat a nice cameo, can you? So there you have it. I hope you're impressed. I was really impressed with the footage. I mean, some of the frame grabs I can take of it were amazing as well. Once again, the size of this camera is amazing. The price point's fantastic. You can pick up prime lenses like the size of my thumb, which is amazing. These are just my initial tests. I want to do some more tests using the Vlog function, high dynamic range options. I want to learn more about this camera and encourage you to film more. When you've got something that small, you can just pick up and shoot and point. It's fantastic. It switches on in seconds. You know, as much as I love my mirror here, it takes you a few minutes to switch this on. You can be ready to go straight away. You can go to places you can't film with big cameras, and you can enjoy it and you can have fun with these lenses, which are very affordable. And there's a huge range of fisheye lenses, zoom lenses, all for a really, really good price compared to their PL mount equivalent. So far I'm really impressed, but as I said, I'm looking forward to sharing more footage, more experiences with you soon. If you've got any questions about what I've talked today, just let me know, just drop it in the comments below. And speaking of which, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing for us, and drop us a like, that would be much appreciated. We look forward to seeing you here at Sparky Film next time, hopefully sometime soon. Thank you.